Of the route, I mean of the numbers.
I have no idea, but we think it's about 1 million. Because I was hearing 400,000.
Yeah. Is it? Really? It's quite exciting, isn't it?
It's brilliant.
Who are you filming it for?
Myself.
A big thank you to the organisers that got us all here. Let's hear it for them. It will be, can you hear me all right at the back? We will lose this war. It will be a failure. All it will achieve is to be the best recruiting agent that the terrorists could hope for. young people in Iraq will, as a result of this, join the terrorists. And as a result, the civilian population, what's left alive, will hide terrorists, will hide weapons, and will hate us more than they do now.
I have three messages from the Muslim Association of Britain, and I have only a few minutes, so I'll be brief. The first message: we have defeated the skeptics. We have defeated the fascists. This rally, this coalition, a holy coalition between the Muslims and the non-Muslims, all races, all colors, all religions. We agree on a common ground, and that is the sacredness of human life. No to war, no to killing Iraqis for oil. And we will have more of this. We will have more cooperation, more coalitions, more working together to empower the people. Is going to make life more miserable for the Palestinians. Is there anyone here today who does not see what Sharon is doing in Palestine? How come, tell me, that Israel and the Zionist lobby is for war? Why are they supporting George Bush's war? That's because Palestine and Iraq are linked. And that's why we call for freedom for Palestine. And as I see you here today, I have a vision, I have a dream that this park one day will be filled with people who will celebrate the freedom of Palestine. We will go all the way until Palestine is free like South Africa and no more apartheid anywhere. Thank you very much.
To found a new political movement worldwide. The biggest demonstration ever in Britain, the first global demonstration, and its first cause is to prevent a war against Iraq. And it must also be about other matters as well. It must be about the establishment of a Palestinian state. Be about democracy, not only in the Middle East, because there's no democracy in Saudi Arabia or in Iraq, but dare I say it, some democracy in Britain as well, allow the British Parliament to decide. While we're here, let us remember that 35 million people die every year in the world of hunger. That 500 billionaires in the world have the same income as half the population of the world put together. That the world in which we live is dominated by the military, by the media, and by multinationals. And what we are about is getting democracy all over the world, so we can build a world that is safe for our children and grandchildren. That is what it is about. If there are to be inspectors in Iraq, I would like to see inspectors in Israel. We want to see the money wasted on weapons of mass destruction diverted to give the world what it needs, which is food and clothing and housing and schools and hospitals, and to protect the old and the sick and the disabled. My friends, that is what we are here about today. We are starting something really big, and our first task is peace in Iraq. But we must not stop until we have achieved the objectives that bring us all to Hyde Park this afternoon.
Privileged to join with you here this afternoon on what, without doubt, is this historic occasion. And given the events at the United Nations in New York yesterday, where they spoke, today across the world the people are speaking, and the Prime Minister and the President have got to start listening. That is our message from the outset for 4 principles. First, the mandate of the United Nations must be the one that takes the decision and gives the legitimacy. And secondly, that those decisions have got to be based on adequate information. That means full compliance with the weapons inspectors. Given the evidence that we had yesterday in New York from Dr. Blix, there can be, as we stand, no just or moral case for war against Iraq. That is the message. Third, if we reach the stage at some point in the future where British troops are going to be asked to enter some form of military conflict, then that's got to be achieved in a democratic way, which means that the House of Commons should be given the right, which so far it has been denied, the right of a vote on whether we believe our forces should be sent into battle in that way. It's on holiday. At the same time, the unelected House of Lords is sitting. We will have the bizarre situation, will we not, where the unelected Chamber of Parliament will be able to question the government on these vital current events, while the elected Chamber of Parliament will not even be in session. And I say to Tony Blair today, as a result of what has just taken place in New York, he should at least recall the House of Commons next week, make a full statement and allow the elected members of Parliament of all parties to have their say on behalf of the thousands of their constituents.
Ever political demonstration in the history of this country. And today there are 600 and more demonstrations in cities all around the world. Every country, every continent, everybody in the world has a chance today to say no, absolutely no to war on Iraq. We are a force that's not alone, not isolated, and very, very relevant to today's world. Those, George Bush, Tony Blair, Aznar, Berlusconi, who want war, they are the ones who are isolated and alone and desperately searching for friends. Because there is no justice whatsoever in the planned war against Iraq. And I say that because there is much talk of the possibility of a second United Nations resolution. I say this, even if the United Nations is bribed and cajoled and cobbles together some form of words that gives some kind of pretext for an attack on Iraq, it would be wrong, and I would be against it, we would be against it, because we're against the war. And as a member of the British Parliament, I am very angry that we have so far been denied a vote on the possibility of going to war. I find it deeply distasteful that the British Prime Minister can use the medieval powers of the royal prerogative to send young men and women to die, to kill civilians, and for Iraqis to die. Pounds on a war that nobody wants. When there is an AIDS pandemic sweeping Africa, when a quarter of the world's children die in poverty and starvation, and we say there isn't money sufficient for our own public services, well, the answer is an obvious one. No to war, yes to peace, yes to rehabilitation and rebuilding. And for those who say that this is a necessary and just conflict because it will bring about peace and security, September the 11th was a dreadful event. 8,000 deaths in Afghanistan brought back none of those who died in the World Trade Center. Thousands more deaths in Iraq will not make things right. It will set off a spiral of conflict, of hate, of misery, of desperation that will fuel the wars, the conflict, the terrorism, the depression and the misery of future generations. And not expect some problem in the future. You cannot arm regimes like Iraq, Iran and many others without expecting further problems in the future. Our message today here in London, 1 million and more strong, is this. We want to live in a world free from war. The way to free us from the scourge of war is to free ourselves from the scourge of injustice, of poverty and the misery that's associated with that. This movement is giving that message to the British government. Stop now or pay a political price. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. And vive la France! We need a new slogan. Don't attack Chirac. I'm speaking personally as a member of the old Europe. I have to tell you, I would rather be eating cheese, reading Sartre on the banks of the River Seine than taking popcorn with the born-again, Bible-belting, fundamentalist Republican administration in Crawford, Texas, execution capital of the world. We are, today, the British people, denied a vote in the Houses of Parliament. The British people have voted with their feet in Glasgow and in London in overwhelming numbers, and their vote is no war on Iraq and justice and freedom for Palestine. A government playing mini-me to the Dr. Evils in Washington and in London. And I say to Mr. Blair, and I hope he's listening to this message being sent by the British people today, we do not intend to continue with a Prime Minister who acts as if he's the governor of the 51st state of the United States of America. Wants Star Wars alliance and axis of evil with General Ariel Sharon either. And I say to Mr. Blair, if he, despite this great demonstration today, despite the overwhelming feelings around the world against war, if he takes Great Britain over this cliff with George W. Bush, then he will break the Labour Party he is supposed to lead. If he breaks the Labour Party, there will be some of us ready to rebuild it out of the wreckage as a real Labour Party, standing for real Labour values and standing above all for peace in the world. Thank you very much.
George Galloway.
Go to bed. There will still be people demonstrating in America and in Canada, from the Arctic Circle right through to the south of America. This is a worldwide movement of protest. And I was asked these last few days, is this demonstration going to be violent? And I say to everybody, how can you ask whether this demonstration will be violent when this government is going to rain violence on the people of Iraq? They said to me, will there be extremists on this demonstration? And I said, there is one group of extremists in this country. It's the clique around Tony Blair who want to take us to war. Because these are the people who are fanatics and fundamentalists and who will not respect the democratic wishes of the vast majority of people in the world. And when George Bush says his patience is running out, I'd like to send a message to George Bush. The patience of the people of this country is running out with him. We are fed up with being fed dossiers and supposed evidence which turns out to be a pack of lies. We're fed up being told that they're going to war for democracy when they support dictatorships around the world and where they have more weapons of mass destruction than everybody else put together. We're fed up with the way that we're told that Blair has to follow Bush. And I've got a message for Tony Blair this afternoon. If you go to war with George Bush, we will bring you down. You will not survive as Prime Minister of this country. And you don't deserve to survive as Prime Minister of this country. There is no democracy in a world where they bribe people and bully people to go to war in the name of democracy. So we're asking people from today, we have built the most historic movement, and it's you, the organised people of this country, who have built that movement. It's not us speaking on this platform, it's the people who booked the coaches, who built the meetings, who've handed out leaflets, and I congratulate you all. But today is only a beginning. If he thinks we're going to go home and forget about this, he's got another thing coming. We are asking you to use everything in your power to stop this war. We are saying we want a mass movement of civil disobedience. On the day war breaks out, we're asking people to strike in order to stop this war. We want you to withdraw your labour.
With Tony Blair as a hired Christian thug. The planned attack on Iraq is a premeditated act of mass murder. I'm going to read a short poem. It's called the bonds. There are no more women.
President Bush and to Prime Minister Blair that we oppose the war against Iraq. Please tell me, what is the message we want to send to Prime Minister Blair? We oppose the war against Iraq. We do not want a war for oil that will leave a trail of blood of innocent lives in Iraq and of innocent lives of American and British soldiers. I understand why you all stand here speaking loud and clearly to Prime Minister Blair to tell him that we want to live in a world when peace, democracy and security are enshrined in the United Nations Charter. The beliefs that he's had for so many years when he embraced the United Nations, international law, conventions and treaties such as the Kyoto Protocol, the ABM Treaty, and other treaties that President Bush has refused to ratify. The United Nations was established in 1945 to prevent future generations from the scourge of war. There is only 2 exceptions in the UN Charter. It is extremely important for us to understand that in the UN Charter there are only 2 exceptions that allow a state to wage a war against another state. And those 2 points are, under Article 51, when a government or a state is acting in self-defense because it has been attacked by either of those 2 countries, or if there is an imminent threat to the national security of a state, which of course is not the case because Iraq does not represent a threat to the national security of this country or of the United States. 2001, to wage a war against Iraq when there was no evidence that there was a connection between the Iraqi government and Al-Qaeda, but it was part of his new philosophy and doctrine by which he can use preemptive strike against another state. Are you and will you support this government and President Bush to use preemptive strike against another state? Bush, listening to the voice of President Bush rather to the voices of the British people. Why, Prime Minister Blair, are you not listening to our voices of reason? I stand here today to say that I do not condone the human rights record of President Saddam Hussein, but that there is no place in the UN Charter that says that if a country, no matter how appalling that country is, that we can wage a war to overthrow the government. If we were to do that, we will have anarchy in the world. Yes, I would like to see democracy brought to the people of Iraq, but not by carpet bombing Iraq and by killing innocent civilians. Let's not forget that the UN issued a report in December that talks about the likely scenario if there was a war in Iraq. It talks about up to 500,000 casualties of innocent people. It talks up to 2 million refugees and displaced people. It talks up to 5 million people who will be in dire conditions. Is that what we want to see the United States and Great Britain do in our name?
About weapons of mass destruction, and he's got more than anybody else on the planet. Don't supply to those other nations
nations like Israel that have nuclear weapons in the Middle East. Let's get rid of all the weapons of mass destruction. The truth is, we know this is not about weapons of mass destruction. Yesterday I published an opinion poll of Londoners' views. 3/4 of the people of London said in that poll they do not support an Anglo-American attack on Iraq. For everybody here of this great protest, 3/4 of London stands with us in opposing an attack on Iraq. We know exactly what the agenda is. It's not about human rights, not about weapons of mass destruction. It's about who will control the second largest reserves of oil on the face of the planet.
Say stop the war. Save the people. Stop the war. Save the people. Stop the war. Save the people. Give peace a chance. Give peace a chance. Minds, not missiles. Minds, not missiles. Hope, not hate. Give peace a chance. Give peace a chance. Give peace a chance. We the people will win. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. One of my brothers from America, a great actor. It's a big hand for Tim right there. Give it up. Brothers and sisters, let us take a moment of prayer. Dr. King, imagine Gandhi, imagine John Lennon, imagine Mandela, all the people living in peace. As the prophet Isaiah said, he shall judge among the nations, to rebuke many people. They shall beat their swords into plowshares, the spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not rise up against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Bless us in our efforts to take light into dark places and heat in the cold places and stop the scourge of war. Amen. Amen. Listen, to link with you seeking peace in our world. This is our world. America is a great nation, better than the vision of our leadership. It is not too late to stop this war. We must march until there's a declaration of peace and reconciliation. War should be necessary, it should be last resort, and not preemptive, and it should have moral authority. If we attack Iraq preemptively, we lose the moral authority to challenge China to not attack Taiwan, or Pakistan, India, or Pakistan. We must preserve peace and order in our world. The arrogance of certain victory precedes the fall. Thank you today for being a part of the largest demonstration against war in the history of Britain and the history of the world. Congratulations. Trafalgar Square to free Nelson Mandela. We marched here in London to freeze nuclear weapons. Now it's time for an encore. So thank you for putting your bodies on the path of the war machine, especially young people. Young people, get involved. This is your world. This is your world. Today, we can stop this war. It's cold outside, but our hearts are warm. It may be winter. All of you together are generating some serious street heat. George Bush can feel it. Tony Blair can feel it. Turn up the heat. To persuade a superior use of power than war, Mr. Blair must protect the integrity of British independence and help lead peace and not blindly follow Bush. He must help lead the world toward peace. That's his charge. That's his mandate. Not long ago, Dr. King led us. He chose minds over missiles and said, if you will, to give peace a chance. Why are we here today? Because we choose coexistence over co-annihilation. Because we choose brains over bombs and brute force. To stop the cycle of terrorism before it spreads. To stop a war before it starts. Today we appeal to the world. Choose life over death. Choose hope and healing over hurt and hostility. Choose reconciliation over intimidation. A line has been drawn in the sand. It is not enough to choose sides. We must reconcile sides. In this battle, which can still be avoided, there may be no winners. Young soldiers and young civilians killing and being killed. There is no future, no growth, no prosperity in that equation. When the world's superpower searches for victory rather than reconciliation, it ignores the consequences and global repercussions. It ignores the tragedy inflicted on the Iraqi people defenseless in their homes. Hitting Iraq begins the battle, but it does not end the terror. Filling the air with threatening rhetoric from the Wild West only fans the flames of fear and hatred and violence and reaction. Rhetorical war is psychological war, which has already created an ominous tension around the world. And our arrogance to rush to war, we underestimate the perils, the price, and the pain. To rush to war without fully counting the moral and physical risk is arrogant, and arrogance precedes the fall. And while the war may be short, the cycle of violence will be long. No one can fruitfully search for victory in this conflict. There is another level. We must not merely choose sides, we must choose peace. Today, we march for healing. We march to fight the demons of militarism, racism, sexism, anti-Semitism, Arab bashing, anti-Islamism, gay bashing. We choose to be one big family on the one big tent. Desmond Tutu, Nelson Mandela said the war is wrong, that it's immoral. This war may be your legacy, Mr. Blair. Surely that's not what you want. Mr. Blair, if you stay so the cruise missiles may not fly. Without your support, the smart bombs may stay down. I appeal to you today. Let's ask the United Nations and Kofi Annan to empower an eminent persons commission that's led by Nelson Mandela and go to Baghdad. Let's stop the war while there's a chance to stop the war. In America, in Washington, just this past year, Tony Blair's support for a war in Iraq, England's place in the war coalition is literally the difference between majority support in the U.S. As England goes, so goes the peace. The people of England, as you go, so should go your Prime Minister. This is democracy, after all. During the Cold War, we used to say that the people in Eastern Europe were not allowed to speak. They could not make their voices heard. Now the people of the West are speaking. Mr. Blair and Mr. Bush, hear the people. Hear the people. Hear our voices. Hear the people. No blood for oil. Hear the people. Give peace a chance. Hear the people. Remember, we must learn to live together as brothers and sisters and not die apart as fools. And so, what is to be done? What should we do next? Keep working, keep struggling, and keep marching. The race should not go to the swift or to the strong, but those who hold on. We're doing something brand new here today, trying to stop a war before it starts. What are we doing here today? Building a serious peace movement, trying to save multilateralism and the UN, trying to slow down the strong to protect innocent children, trying to fend off the trap of empire and redeem the hope of democracy. Never forget what Dr. King taught us. The arc of the universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Don't you give up and don't you surrender. Your spirit and faith will be tested. The war machine will give us fierce opposition, but faith can move mountains. That's faith. We cry sometime and we're hurt, but that faith has power. Faith helped Moses march out of Egypt and across the Red Sea. Keep marching. Faith helped Joshua bring the walls tumbling down. Keep marching. Faith helped Jesus turn the crucifixion into a resurrection. You keep marching. Faith helped Mandela live long enough to free his jailer. You keep marching. It's not easy, but nothing is too hard for God. It's dark, but the morning comes, and you are the light of the world. It's still, but hope is still alive in Hyde Park, in Central Park, in our world. Someday soon, swords will be beating in the plowshares. Someday soon, someday we'll be beyond racism and sexism and militarism. Will have a new world order, and justice will roll down like waters. And if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, and then they will hear from heaven, and God will forgive our sins and heal our land. It's hope time. It's healing time. It's hope time. It's healing time. It's hope time. It's healing time. Give peace a chance. It's hope time. It's healing time. It's hope time. Keep hope alive. Love you.
I support you all. No to war. No to war. Brothers and sisters, friends, colleagues, you've been wonderful today. Today has been great. Today we've seen around 2 million people march the streets of London in an attempt to save lives. You should all be proud of yourselves. We are proud of you.
And firstly, I would like to thank all our stewards today, Chris Nynan, the Chief Steward, and all the other stewards who've helped make this a safe and peaceful march. Thank you very much. I'd also like to say that today the British people have spoken. If Tony Blair carries on backing George Bush, the whole world now knows he does not speak for Britain. And if Tony Blair takes this country to war, he is not just bombing the innocent civilians of Iraq, he is fighting the British people, and we will win. We are going to fight this drive to war all the way, and if Tony Blair, if this government takes us to war, we are going to fight to change the government.
It's very important.
We will strike to stop war, we will march to stop war, and if this
welcome here.
And now, to close our event this evening, can I ask you all to welcome a final appearance, Miss Dynamite.
Chance to be loved. This war will take away the lives of children. If you believe that that is wrong, make some noise. If you believe that Iraqi children or any other type of child in the world has the right to, at the very least, live so that they can grow to write songs and sing about their happy childhood, make some noise! If you believe in freedom and peace, let me see your hands in the air! What the same little bird grew up next to the girl, went to all the things the teenage girls do, hanging out all night, breaking my perfume. When my daddy hit the door, I gave my mama the blues. Used to spend my time days and days away, but I was going to go for 15 in the water or bay. Had to get my act together, couldn't take the heat, and now I'm making beats for the streets. I'm Miss Dynamite. I'm just Miss Dynamite. I'm Miss Dynamite. Dynamite. I'm built for the house parties that took place. Picking in with their stands so we could step in the face. And my cousins and my brothers, we sit up all night, listen to a band about until the morning light. Remember my was years of school, I was so innocent. I just wanted to learn, I never been so content. But the don't stop fighting peacefully. Stop the violence. Save the children. Stop the war. Save the children. Say peace. Say love. Say peace. Say love. Give peace. Ladies and gentlemen, the people at the front are being pushed by people at the back. Please do not push forward for safety reasons. Thank you.
5-year-old Ethan is here, and his elder brother and his elder sister. So, sorry, we've just lost their dad. So the mum is here with the three, and the dad needs to come around the back of the stage.
No, there's no, I'm happy to take Screeches Include. Yeah, I mean, it's we must have it.
Rachel Jacobson, who was with Gabrielle Jacobson.
There would have been major safety issues that have been going on inside that. Which can
speeches from this afternoon are going to be broadcast tomorrow on cable radio, so that all the speeches that were from 1 o'clock onwards will in fact be able to be heard tomorrow.
Are. And meet your friends there, or your parents, or whatever. All those people, including the Halifax people, going to the back of the stage. I'm not going to do any